Picture this. A woman stands in a Norwegian grocery store at 9 p.m. on a Saturday, screaming at the automated checkout machine because it won't accept her cash. Not because she doesn't have a card. She has 3. She's protesting on principle. This is discrimination against traditional banking. She announces to the empty store. The machine, programmed only in Norwegian, beeps patiently. She's been here for 40 minutes. The lights are starting to automatically dim for closing. She's now filming a video for her lawyer about Scandinavia's war on American currency. The security guard who's been watching this on camera is filling out what will become the most detailed incident report of his career. Welcome to your crash course in what happens when confident. American logic collides with foreign systems that absolutely, definitely do not care. If you recognize this level of storytelling, the kind that digs deeper than surface-level jokes, this is the standard every video here hits. And if you value clarity over cliches, you'll want this channel in your corner. Lisa's been working reception at a Budapest thermal bath for 6 years. She's seen confusion. She's seen accidents. But she's never seen someone bring a full rotisserie chicken into a medicinal spa. The American couple unwrapped at poolside, explaining they'd paid for all-day access and intended to maximize value. They'd brought plates, napkins, and a bottle of ranch dressing. When Lisa explained that food wasn't allowed in the water areas, the woman looked genuinely baffled. "But we bought the premium pass," she said, as if entry fees included poultry privileges. Her husband was already knee-deep in 38-degree thermal water, holding a drumstick above the surface to keep it dry. They'd actually strategized this. Meanwhile in Tallinn, a man spent 3 hours at the Estonia office demanding they just send him the passwords. For his new digital ID, the representative kept explaining it was biometric authentication, not a password system. He insisted all computers have passwords, therefore this must have one, and he needed it written down for security. He'd brought a notebook specifically for this purpose. When told Estonia's digital infrastructure doesn't work that way, he accused them of gatekeeping and referenced the tech support number for Estonia. He'd found online, which was a Viking River Cruise customer service line. He called it right there, asked for Estonia's IT department, and seemed genuinely shocked when they couldn't help him access government services. What you're about to experience is a collection of moments where American problem-solving meets European reality. And reality doesn't even bother to look up from its paperwork. Most people hear stories like these and just laugh. You're catching the patterns underneath the mand. That's exactly what subscribers come here for. It's the stuff everyone else misses. Marcus works the Frankfurt U-Bahn ticket validation checkpoint twice a week. He's checked approximately 40,000 tickets in his career, but he'd never had someone present a handwritten IOU instead of a ticket until last Tuesday. The American businessman explained he'd left his wallet at the hotel, but gave his word he'd pay later. He'd written good for one train ride Brad Morrison on hotel stationery and seemed to believe this transformed paper into currency. When Marcus explained this wasn't valid, Brad began negotiating, offering to add his LinkedIn profile to the note as collateral. "I have over 500 connections," he said, as if professional networking could be converted to Deutsche Bahn credit. He then suggested Marcus accept Venmo, got frustrated when Marcus didn't have it, and finally accused the German transit system of being anti-entrepreneurial. Marcus just kept saying "Viora Euros until Brad's colleague arrived with actual money. Brad muttered that this would never happen on the metro. The entire way out, Petra manages a Polish milk bar, one of those communist-era holdover cafeterias, where a massive meal costs less than a coffee at Starbucks. Her menu is in Polish, prices in ex-voto, system unchanged since 1987. An American woman spent 15 minutes trying to customize her pierogi. Order like it was Chipotle. She wanted half spinach, half meat. But can you do turkey instead? And sauce on the side, not mixed in? Petra explained. The pierogis come as they come, rusky, meat, or cabbage. The woman insisted everywhere does substitutions. If you just ask nicely. She pulled up photos of dumplings from 3 different Asian restaurants on her phone as proof that this type of Food allows modifications. When Petra maintained the menu was fixed, the woman launched into a theory about how post-Soviet economies stay poor by refusing basic customer service innovation. She then asked if they took Apple Pay for her 12's Voti lunch. They did not. She left a Yelp review calling it authentically stuck in the past, and not in a cute way. Down in Seville, Javier runs a small flamenco tablao. Shows start at 10 p.m. because that's when flamenco shows start after dinner, after the evening begins. An American couple arrived at 7 p.m. demanding to see the first showing so they could be in bed by 9. Javier explained there was only one show, at 10. They offered to pay double for a private 7 p.m. performance. He explained the dancers weren't even here yet. They were having dinner with their families. The couple couldn't grasp why a business wouldn't accommodate paying customers willing to spend extra. That's like $400 just sitting there, the husband calculated, gesturing at the empty room. They started constructing an elaborate theory about Spanish work ethic and siesta culture gone too far, claiming the evening showtime was a lifestyle choice rather than centuries of cultural tradition. They asked if the performers were unionized, because that would explain the rigidity. Eventually, they left to find a more customer-focused flamenco experience, which Javier is pretty sure doesn't exist. He later found their TripAdvisor review complaining about inflexible showtimes that don't respect American sleep schedules. Dimitri operates a currency exchange, booth in Prague's old town. He's seen every scam, every confusion, every wild misunderstanding about Czech crowns. But the woman who spent 30 minutes accusing him of artificially inflating the exchange rate because it didn't match what Google told her 3 days ago reached new territory. She had screenshots. She'd created a spreadsheet. She was calculating the missing value and demanding he reimbursed her for market fluctuations. When Dimitri explained that exchange rates change constantly, she dismissed this as convenient timing and asked who he reported to. She wanted to file a formal complaint with Prague's Financial Oversight Committee about exchange rate manipulation. Dimitri, exhausted, pointed out that global currency markets set these rates. She accused him of hiding behind bureaucracy and said she'd studied economics in high school, so she understood how this worked. She left threatening to contact the American embassy about Czech exchange rate fraud. Her husband waited outside the whole time, staring at his phone. Up in Stockholm, Ingrid works at the Tunnelbana metro station information desk. A man approached her, furious, clutching an unvalidated SL card. He'd been riding for 3 days without tapping in, didn't get caught, but was now personally offended by the honor system. "What kind of operation are you running?" he demanded. Anyone could just ride for free. Ingrid confirmed this was technically possible, but that most people don't. He found this answer completely unacceptable and spent 20 minutes trying to explain basic economics to her about fare evasion, revenue loss, and system sustainability. She kept saying, "Yes, we trust people," which made him angrier. He'd constructed an entire theory that Sweden was too trusting and would collapse economically because of naive transportation policy. He demanded statistics on revenue loss. When Ingrid explained the system worked fine and had for decades, he accused her of covering up a failing infrastructure. He then asked if he could report himself for the free rides to prove a point. Ingrid said that wasn't necessary. He left muttering about Scandinavian socialism's inevitable downfall, still holding his valid paid card. Over in Slovenia, Matić runs a small mountain hut on a hiking trail. He provides free emergency shelter per alpine traditions. Centuries old, non-negotiable. How mountain culture works. An American hiker was scandalized by the lack of payment system. She insisted on Venmoing him. He refused. She tried to leave cash. He refused. She began creating elaborate theories about tax evasion and money laundering, certain that free shelter was a front for something. She couldn't accept that some things just exist as community service. She took photos of the hut's interior as evidence, though evidence of what remained unclear. She told other hikers that Matić wouldn't take payment, which is suspicious, accidentally making him sound like a weirder criminal than she intended. She later emailed the Slovenian Tourist Board asking if mountain huts were legally operating without payment systems. They sent back a confused response about alpine tradition. She replied asking for the real answer. Matić still doesn't lock his hut at night. She probably still thinks he's running an off-books hotel operation. Back to Norway, the woman at the automated checkout finally left when the store manager arrived. Gently explained that 95% of Norwegian transactions are digital and offered to help her use her card. She declined, saying she'd already compromised enough by being in a store that discriminated against cash users. She walked out with nothing. Past 5 other customers who'd completed their shopping in the time she'd spent protesting, the manager watched her go, locked the door behind her, and updated the staff training manual with a new scenario he never thought he'd have to include. Here's what ties all these stories together: confidence meeting confusion, creating conviction. The absolute certainty that if something doesn't work the American way, it must be wrong, broken, or conspiratorial. Not different wrong. Not cultural-defective and somewhere right now. Someone is arguing with a Swiss train conductor about why silence cars are discriminatory against. Conversation, someone's explaining to a Finnish person that their personal space bubble is technically rude by international standards, and someone's filing a complaint about why German bureaucracy requires so many forms when America does it with 2.